This is Steve from Boxing UK in association with Supreme CBD. We're at Manchester Arena with Eddie Hearn. Can you talk us through that 4 or 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, he's just brutal, isn't he? You know, and I know that some people say, oh, Chris VanHeerden's old, and no one's done that to him. And it's the way that he's dealing with this opposition, Algeria as well. No one's done that to Chris Algeria, and I think, you know, CONOR BENN is ferocious, he's a handful, but he's ready now for a step up because he's cruising through that level. And he needs now to move on, you know, and step up the opposition. We don't want him to keep stale at that level. But just like you saw, you know, this is a kid from Ilford that's had a big crowd in Liverpool, nice crowd in Manchester tonight. Like, this is a big, big star. And all the other stars in British boxing are all coming to the back end of their career. He's just really getting started. So I don't want to get it wrong, but at the same time, we've got to keep the public excited and keep the progression.
Is it a double-edged sword, what you've just said, Eddie? Because he's still a young man, relatively. Yeah. But performances like that set the bar of expectations so high. How do you manage that with regarding future matching?
Really, you have to be smart, and you mustn't just listen to fans. You know, I know fans are very important, but we've got to listen to Tony Sims. He knows what he's doing. We're developing him perfectly. But the way that he's dealing with the opposition gives you the confidence to move quicker. Now, if he would have struggled tonight against VanHeerden, you might have looked at it and said, is he ready actually for that next step? The answer we know is yes.
Regarding future opposition, Amir Khan was in the ring. Can you discount that straight away?
Yeah, that was just a bit of fun. You know, I think that we respect Amir Khan. I think maybe if he came back and had a win, it's certainly a fight we could look at. But I don't think he's certainly not going to be next, and he's not on our radar.
Putting Evan Nessien to one side, we've heard Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. Is that the kind of level that Conor's looking at next?
Mikey Garcia. I mean, I said before, depending how quickly he gets back in, he's supposed to fight Maurice Hooker tonight. That's a good fight. That's a step up from VanHeerden. But if we wait a little bit longer, I think we need a bigger name. So we'll see what happens with his hands and everything from camp. But Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Adrian Broner, and these are big steps up. And it's going to be very nerve-wracking, but he can really fight, this kid, and I think the British public want to see that test now.
Can I ask a question in regards to, you've said about Evan Nessien not being a big ticket seller and everything, but sometimes is it worth sacrificing that for a fight that would really bring Conor on in his own development?
So would Mikey Garcia, so would Danny Garcia, so would Adrian Broner, so would Keith Thurman. I just keep saying this, Evan Nessien is the same level as all those guys I just mentioned, but we would pay Conor 2 or 3 times more to fight those names. So you'd have to be pretty thick to not understand that. Now, if we can't get those names, then we have to look at lesser names like David Evanesian, or like Stanionis, or like Butaev, or like these kind of fighters. But people think that I'm being disrespectful to Evanesian. I respect him. He's a lovely man. He's a great fighter.
But you get a lot of grief off his team as well, though, Eddie.
Yeah, because they're not smart enough. They don't understand. And you know what? They turned down an eliminator for the world title against Alexis Rocha to fight Liam Taylor. CONOR BENN has just boxed Chris Algieri and Chris VanHeerden. They've boxed Liam Taylor and a bloke called Metz. So CONOR BENN's fighting better opposition. He's like, you can't criticise him. But I'm not ruling the fight out. I'm just saying we're trying to make a bigger fight for the summer.
The very, very last one, because I've had the tug. Will you be contacting Dillian this week, and what happens next Saturday?
We'll be speaking forever, and you know, we've been behind him for the last 5-6 years. We'll be behind him next Saturday and hope he can get the win.
Lovely, Eddie Hearn, I appreciate your time. Thank you.